In section 4.6 part B, we will find an equation of a line given the slope and a point. Now, to help us find the equation of a line, if we're just given slope m and a generic point a, b, we will learn one more form of a line. And mathematicians are super creative, so this form is called the point-slope form of a line. And it's y minus b equals m times the difference of x and a. This line passes through the point a comma b and has slope m. The alternative point-slope form is just solved for y. Y equals m times the difference of x and a plus b. Below this definition for the point-slope form of a line is some material that can help you understand and remember this form more. But we will go straight to example 33. Point 5 comma negative 4 is on a line with slope 1/3. Find the equation of the line. You can pause here if you want to give it a go. My work shows that we will use the point-slope form, y minus b equals m times the difference of x minus a. And in place of b, I'm going to replace it with negative 4. And with a, 5. And instead of m, I'll write the number 1/3. After this, I just need to simplify subtracting a negative 4 by adding 4. And I can box this as my answer. Now you try 56. Find the equation of a line that passes through the point negative 3, 2 with slope negative 4. Pause here, try it on your own, and then come back and compare your answers to mine. Here, I wrote down the point-slope form, and then I replace the values b, which is my y-coordinate, with 2, a, which is the x-coordinate, with negative 3, and m, which is the slope, with negative 4. From here, I simplify, subtracting a negative by addition, and I box my answer. Now, what happens if our point is a y-intercept? A line passes through the point 0, 7 and has slope 10/9. Find the equation of the line. Well, because my x-coordinate is 0, this turns out to be a y-intercept. We know how to do this using the slope-intercept form, but what happens if we use the point-slope form? We replace a here with the number 0, b with 7, and 10/9 with instead of m. I can simplify. Here x minus 0 is just x, and then I can also solve for y by adding 7 to both sides. And what I get is y equals 10/9 times x plus 7. So if I wanted to box this as my answer, that would be acceptable, as well as boxing this answer. So our point-slope form is more general than the slope-intercept form, and we can use it on any point, even if it is a y-intercept. You try 57. Point 0, negative 3 is on a line with slope 2/8. Find the equation of the line in point-slope form. Pause here, try it on your own, then check back. A is 0, b is negative 3, and m was 2/8, which reduces to 1/4. We can simplify this. Negative 3 becomes plus 3. Minusing by 0 just goes away. And we can leave it in this form, or we can solve for y and have it in slope-intercept form. In example 35, find the equation of this line. We could perhaps use the y-intercept, but it might be 1.5, but I'm not quite sure. I can see that this line goes through the point 1, 2, as well as this point. X is -4, y is 0. So given 2 points, we can certainly find the slope. We figure out the distance traveled in the x direction, which is 4 plus 1, 5. And then the change in my y direction, which is 2. M equals change in y over change in x, 2/5. Given this and my point, 1, 2, or perhaps this point, -4, 0, we can use the slope-intercept form to find the equation. Y minus b is 0 equals m is still 2/5, x minus a, which was -4. Simplify, and what we result in is y equals 2/5 x plus 4. Now you try 58. Find the equation of this graph. Here, there are 3 points that I could find: -4, 5, -1, 1, and 2, -3. Between any 2 points, I find that the slope is going to have a delta x of 3 and a change in y of -4. Same for here. Move to the right 3, go down 4. So my slope shall be change in y, -4, over change in x, +3. Then I can choose any point. I'll choose this one. I'll replace my b with -3, so y minus -3 becomes y plus 3, and x minus a becomes x minus 2. I can also write this in the alternative point slope form. We can also be given some special lines. For example, in example 36, point 3, 8 is on a line that has undefined slope. Find the equation of the line. Well, to have an undefined slope, we need to have a denominator that's 0. So recall slope is delta y over delta x. So my change in x has to be the number 0. And if I'm not changing in my x direction, but I am changing in the y direction, then I must be a vertical line. Therefore, we have an equation of the form x equals something, and we see here that x has to equal the number 3. I want you now to try 59. A line passes through the point 1, -2, and has slope 0. Find the equation of the line. So, if a line has slope 0, then m must equal 0, in which case, if we have a fraction equaling 0, the numerator must be 0. This occurs when the change in y direction is nothing. So I never go up and down, but I can go left to right, in which case this is a horizontal line, which is of the form y equals something, and it looks like y has to equal the number 2. You try 60. Find the equation of this graph. Pause here. Check back with my answer. So we could use the point slope form using perhaps this point, 1, -4, and we would get y minus -4 equals 0 times the difference of x minus 1. Well, 0 times anything is still just the number 0, and here minus a negative becomes +4. Subtract 4 from both sides, y equals -4. The other way we could do it is using this slope-intercept form given this point, which is the y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. 0 times x is still just 0, and then we have y equals -4. In either case, the same answer. You try 61. Find the equation for this graph. This one was a little tricky. There wasn't any particular form that we could use because here my slope m is undefined. I do know that this is a vertical line, and I can see that the only thing that's constraining this line is that x always has to be the number 1. Thus, x equals 1 is simply the equation for this line. So here's a word problem. In example 37, there are 40 Zulus that make 22 yo-yos. For every 20 more Zulus, we can make 11 more yo-yos. Well, write an equation that expresses the number of yo-yos made, y, in terms of Zulus, x. Recall the phrase, in terms of x, means that this y value needs to be solved for, and on the other side, in terms of x means that we should have it equaling something that has x's in it. We can write this in our x comma y order. When we have 40 x's, there's also going to be 22 y's, which means that 40 comma 22 is a solution to the equation, or a point on this line. When we make every 20 more Zulus, we can make 11 more yo-yos, means that for every change of x of 20, we have a change in y of 11. We now have a point and a slope, and we can put that into our point-slope form. Y minus 22 equals 11 over 20 times the difference of x minus 40. And if you want, you can solve for y. Either of these would be a fine solution. You try 62. Park rangers have counted the number of deer at a park as 60 and the number of wolves as 40. Park rangers think that for every 50 more deer, there will be 3 more wolves. Find an equation that relates the number of deer, d, to wolves, w. Write ordered pairs in d, w order. Pause here. You go ahead, then check back with my answer. Because this does not include the phrase writing d in terms of w, or write w in terms of d, it explicitly had to tell us which order to write these in here. So if w is my second number, or second coordinate, then we're going to write this solved for w. Here, when we have d, which is deer, being 60, how many wolves will we have? It states here that there is going to be 4. And then for every 50 more, there'll be 3 more wolves. So for a change of w of 3, we have a corresponding change in deer, d, of 50. Using this point, 60 comma 4, and this slope, we can now solve or write the formula for this relationship. And it would be w minus 4 equals 3 over 50 d minus 60. And we can solve for w if we choose.